Breaking news. A chase across multiple counties ends in a fiery crash and an arrest. A WRAL crew is live at the scene with new information on damage and injuries.
Weekend rain and heat. I'm timing out the hours for storms and when temperatures will take a big tumble.
This is my dream kitchen.
A beloved Chapel Hill restaurant is finally reopening 2 years after a devastating fire. When it opens and a first look inside.
And thank you for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Lena Tillett. Let's get right to breaking news in Knightdale. A 16-year-old is now charged with assault after a fight at Knightdale High School. Sky 5 flying over the scene when police and an ambulance were parked outside the school. We are told a school administrator was hurt while trying to stop the fight. Brian Schrader's in the Live Center. Brian, what do we know about the administrator's injuries this evening? And also, what's next for this teen suspect?
We have been piecing it together this afternoon. Here is the latest that we have as we take a look at that video from Sky 5 earlier. The interim principal sent a message home to parents saying that this fight broke out around lunchtime in the cafeteria. And in the past hour, we've heard from Knightdale police saying that 2 students started fighting in the cafeteria. A school staff member tried to stop the fight and in the process was cut on the forearm. They were treated, and according to police, they will be okay. That suspect in all of this, a 16-year-old girl charged with assault with a deadly weapon inflicting serious injury. She is in the Wake County Juvenile Detention Center this evening, being held on $20,000 bond.
Yeah, very serious charges. Thank you, Brian. We're staying on top of that highway patrol pursuit that ended with a crash in Johnston County. Sky 5 flew over the scene on Jones Sausage Road in Garner. 2 SUVs hit each other and a tractor trailer. WRAL's Willie Danley joining us live where this happened at the intersection with Auburn Church Road. Willie, we know one person was arrested here, and that person may have had a gun.
Yes, Lena, according to that police radio traffic, it sounds like he was firing a gun outside of a car. According to State Highway Patrol, the crash happened right here. The vehicles have been towed away, but you still can see a little bit of debris that's been left behind here at the intersection of Jones Sausage and Auburn Church Road. I want to take you to some video that WRAL captured at this scene. You can see multiple cars involved in this crash and a tractor trailer. State Highway Patrol tell us that this chase started in Johnston County and it ended here in Wake County. Multiple people were treated at the scene for injuries, including the suspect. I spoke to a woman who witnessed this crash, and she says she saw at least one person being taken away in handcuffs. She says the crash was so fiery that she thought one of the vehicles was going to explode. We have reached out to both State Highway Patrol and the Johnston County Sheriff's Office to learn more information about what led up to this chase and who is the suspect. We're going to stay on top of this story. Willie Danley, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
Okay, Willie, thanks so much. Turning to weather now, Kat, we're going to see the 90s again this weekend, and then quite the dip. Also, a lot of people looking forward to the rain.
Yes, we've got a little bit of everything, quite literally, this weekend. It's going to feel like summer tomorrow. We've got the heat, we've got the scattered storms, and then Sunday, a lot more like fall. Cloudy, temperatures in the mid-70s, a little bit of rain possible. So let me walk you through the reason why we're going to see the changes. It's this cold front that's coming out ahead of it tomorrow. There is a level 1 out of 5 severe weather threat from Raleigh points north and west. There could be a storm or 2 with damaging winds. You're not going to have any problems in the morning through lunchtime. During the early afternoon, there could be a storm or 2 that pops up, but the better chance of rain and storms should likely get here after 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, lasting through about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. The front's still in our eastern counties on Sunday. I'll have a closer look at what to expect on Sunday coming up.
Okay, thanks so much, Kat. Well, the town of Apex still has a utility bill problem. Many residents tell us they've had billing issues for months, well after a cybersecurity incident impacted the town system last year. WRAL's Kirsten Clark joining us live now in Apex tonight. Kirsten, some residents telling you they think the town is not doing enough to solve this problem.
Lena, 2 different Apex residents showed me their utility bills today. One of them says that she hasn't been credited for use of her solar panels since June. The other says he's being charged substantially more for shorter billing cycles. Now, both of those residents say these billing problems have been an issue since last year when the town experienced a cyber attack. This May, WRAL confirmed with Apex town manager Randy Vosberg that issues from the attack were fixed. So I asked him why people are still seeing issues on on their bills. Vosberg told me it's the result of a recent transition to a new billing system. He says in some cases the dates for billing cycles are wrong, but the costs and usage figures are correct. He also tells me solar credits are applied to utility bills differently under the new system than the previous system. As for the town's lack of a response to calls and questions about their bills, Vosberg is asking residents to be patient as the town works to get back to them.
It's complex. I know we've had some prolonged issues on utility billing. There is light at the end of the tunnel, I promise. Our billing cycles are returning to normal. Like I said, despite what was printed on the dates, those cycles were actually close to that 30-day period, which is a normal cycle. And so there is a path to normalcy, and we are quickly going down that path.
Now, when I spoke with residents about their billing issues, I did relay Vosberg's message to them. They say that there is still a major lack of trust in the town when it comes to their utility bills. At the end of the day, they simply want the problem to be fixed.
Yeah, Kirsten, the town manager, also says they're working on fixing the issues. They're asking for patience, which we get, but is there a timeline at least when the problems could be fixed?
Now, I did ask Vosberg about a timeline for when people could see those issues on their utility bills to go away. Vosberg did not have a set date or timeline for when this will happen. Live in Apex, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
Thank you, Kirsten. Let's get you caught up now on some of today's big headlines. Here are 5 things you should know about right now. A plea deal is on the table for the man accused of hitting and killing a young girl during the 2022 Raleigh Christmas parade. Police say Landon Glass lost control of his truck after his brakes failed before hitting and killing this little girl, 11-year-old Haley Brooks. Glass was charged with involuntary manslaughter. The DA's office says if they reach a deal with Glass's attorney, it'll likely happen next month. A quick update on that sinkhole in Apex that opened up during all the flooding last month. This is on Olive Chapel Road. The project is on track to start in November as planned. Crews will have to slightly expand the road closures. New detour signs will be posted. A concrete truck tipped over today in Moore County. This was the scene in the Woodlake area near Lake Surf. Officers say the driver declined to go to the hospital. He was checked out. Fire crews showed up to clean up the mess. It's unclear if any concrete got in the water. And hundreds of students left their classrooms today calling for stricter gun laws, state and nationwide. Sky 5 capturing video of the protests in Raleigh, Cary, and Morrisville. These were all part of protests happening nationwide after the deadly Catholic school shooting in Minneapolis. Many students in our area walked out during their lunch period, then they headed back to class after about 30 minutes. About 24 fake IDs were found in the Glenwood South area in Raleigh. Wake County ABC officials out checking IDs to make sure people under 21 were not getting into bars. They ultimately checked about 1,100 people. In all, 23 had fake IDs. Dozens of other people were charged for unrelated things, such as drug possession. All right, everything we dreamed about, it is here now. That is your quote of the day from Jamil Kadora, the owner of Med Deli in downtown Chapel Hill. You may remember this scene 2 years ago, the beloved deli catching fire. Boy, I can't forget this. This is video from that day in September of 2023. 2 years later, Med Deli is back in business. And according to Kadora, it's even better than before. WRAL's Sarah Kruger has the story.
Med Deli is beloved in this town, and not having it has been a huge hole here on Franklin Street. Well, Tuesday it will open its doors again. Come with us to take a first look inside here. Everything in here is brand new, and the owner says it's even better than before.
This is the kitchen. This is my dream kitchen. I didn't have this kitchen before.
It was back in July 2023 that an accidental roof fire destroyed this building, causing $3 million in damage. In the interim, Med Deli had a smaller space doing a very limited takeout menu. The owner is thrilled to welcome the community back.
I'm really excited to see all these people that I haven't seen for a while. But it's going to be just like old days. It's going to be busy. Be patient with us. We're going to do our best. We're fully staffed. We're going to do the best we can, but we're excited and happy we're back.
For the time being, Med Deli will be doing dinner service only. It plans to add lunch service again in the next couple weeks. Sarah Kruger, WRAL News in Chapel Hill.
So nice to see that. So here's a little background on how Med Deli came to Chapel Hill in the first place. Jamil Kadura emigrated to the U.S. decades ago. He studied business management in Minnesota, then started working in the food and beverage industry. Work brought him to our state, North Carolina, where he eventually opened Med Deli in 1992. And it has been a Chapel Hill favorite ever since. Frankly, last year has been challenging for even the most beloved restaurants in downtown Chapel Hill. Linda's Bar and Grill closed last year. Mama Dips officially closed earlier this year. Both restaurants had been open since 1976. And we have seen so much turnover in the downtown area. Those are just two high-profile examples. So, of course, you may be wondering, what's behind all this? Mama Dips and Linda's pointed to financial issues. They weren't specific, so we explored some of the possibilities. Development, for one, the East Rosemary development started in 2021, also known as the Innovation Hub. The office building is finished and the parking deck just opened. There's also a plan for a new high-rise apartment building on Rosemary Street and a plan for a new life sciences center on Franklin Street. Then there's the population increase. Chapel Hill's population has nearly tripled since Mama Dips and Linda's first opened back in 1976. Since Med Deli opened, the population has nearly doubled, and an increase in population, of course, often means an increase in property tax. That's right. In 2021, property values in the North Side neighborhood where Mama Dips was located went up 53% on average. 53%. Residents, as you can imagine, challenged this assessment and they won, reducing the values by $7 million. But earlier this year, property values went up again, 50% on average across Orange County. So the county and the town of Chapel Hill ultimately decreased property tax rates in response, but of course not by 50%. No doubt property tax bills are higher now than they were 8 years ago. And then there's also the Downtown Services District tax. If you live downtown or you own a business there, you're likely paying extra. So it's no wonder big chains like Raising Cane's can spend $3 million for a new location right on Franklin Street. That real estate is expensive. In fact, lots of chains have popped up in downtown Chapel Hill in recent years. We're talking Zaxby's, Starbucks, Playa Bowls, and Pulp Smoothies, just to name a few. But chains don't necessarily always succeed. Voodoo Wings, you may remember, opened last year, taking over the old Dame's Chicken and Waffles location. But a year later, just a year later, it closed. A replacement opened just last week. This one is called Road to Myanmar. And just like Med Deli, they're a mom and pop restaurant owned and operated by immigrants. And just like Med Deli, perhaps they too will find ways to thrive despite the growth challenges and changes ahead. Still ahead, September is the peak of hurricane season. Anytime a new system pops up in the Atlantic, it can be stressful, even stressful for our kids. And now some students are learning ways to cope. We take a look at some lesson plans that maybe you can learn something from. So this, of course, is the last thing we want to see during hurricane season. Don't worry, this is not live. This is what Hurricane Erin looked like last month as it moved through the Atlantic. Hurricane season and severe weather can be stressful. As climate change reporter Liz McLaughlin explains, some students in North Carolina are learning ways to handle the stress.
For many families, preparing kids for the future means teaching them how to handle life's challenges.
We all want to protect our kids as much as possible, but I think as parents also know we can't protect them from everything.
That's why Catherine Stevenson, a mom of two and environmental education professor at NC State, helped create Ready, Set, Resilience, a program designed to give students tools to adapt and recover.
We're hoping this could be kind of a tool in the toolbox of how communities prepare for future disasters or recover from current ones.
The curriculum uses illustrated fables and hands-on activities to show how nature adapts to stress and how students can too.
This idea that we could use nature and ecology as a model of showing the ability to adapt or recover after disturbance.
In Carteret County, 8th grade teacher Rob Condi says the lessons are giving students tools they can use long after the storm passes.
They're beaming and glowing and growing and learning and applying what they're learning in the classroom in the real everyday world and feeling that success.
The program started at the coast after Hurricanes Florence and Dorian, but expanded west when Hurricane Helene devastated the mountains last September. Nearly a year later, many communities are still working to recover, and teachers say students are carrying the emotional weight.
And unfortunately, in terms of environmental challenges, we're seeing more of those. And so these are skills that are increasingly important.
Ready, Set, Resilience is now used in classrooms across the state, including in Durham County, helping students weather storms of all kinds. Liz McLaughlin, WRAL News.
We can't act like these things don't affect our children, right? I mean, they're obviously plugged in as well and wondering what the impacts of these storms will be.
It's cool good that they're learning so young, though.
For sure. No storms this weekend. A lot of fun happening in downtown Raleigh for hopscotch. It's just hot.
It is. You know, at least it's pretty shaded in City Plaza. This live look from Jimmy V's showing that the shade helps. It's pretty packed out there tonight for hopscotch. If you're headed that way, things are looking pretty good for us. Upper 70s to lower 80s out there this evening, but changes are on the way for the weekend. We've got a strong cold front on the way. 93 tomorrow, dropping to 76 on Sunday. 17-degree difference. That will come with a chance for some rain this weekend. That chance pretty small during the first part of the day. We're completely dry. As we get into 2 o'clock, it's that small chance. And then during the evening, that's when the chance for rain really begins to ramp up. It's scattered showers, some thunderstorms mixed in as well. And we've seen the storms moving through Tennessee today. There's even a severe thunderstorm watch in Tennessee, a level 2 severe weather threat there, a level 1 threat tonight in the mountains. And that level 1 threat makes it here during the day tomorrow, mainly from Raleigh, points north and west and into the foothills. The storm threat, mainly just damaging wind gusts. It would be in a couple of storms, not a widespread threat, but we'll be watching that for you throughout the day. The cold front pushes in from the west, and we've got the chance for storms in our viewing area into the mountains tomorrow. But the North Carolina coast, the beaches, will be nice and dry tomorrow. 90 in Wilmington. The rain reaches the coast on Sunday. So if you have beach plans, you're better off tomorrow than Sunday. Sunday, we could see some lingering rain, especially along and east of I-95. We'll be watching for that. Otherwise, it's mostly cloudy and a much cooler day, just 76 degrees. Changes on the way. We just got in the new update from the National Hurricane Center moments ago. I haven't had time to update these numbers. We dropped from a high chance of developing to a medium chance of developing. It is rare to see that. 30 and 60. All right, so a 30% chance of developing over the next 48 hours, a 60% chance over the next 7 days. We love to see that. We've been telling you throughout the day we'd likely continue to see the odds of developing going down. The model plot shifted to the south a bit, and we saw that trend start yesterday. And because of that, it's going to be headed into an environment with a lot more wind shear, so it may really have a tough time coming together and developing. We'll keep an eye on it for you through the weekend. Don't forget this weekend, keep your WRAL weather app on hand. You can turn on your notifications, and it'll tell you when rain is detected near your location. The radar is going to be a useful tool as well. Next week, a little bit more fall-like. Highs are back in the upper 70s to lower 80s. Lena.
Love that good news for the weekend. Thank you, Kat. So UNC football gets another crack at it this weekend. They are not yet as good as many had hoped, but some of you may remember when they were great, like back in the 1980s. Some nostalgia for Tar Heel fans, courtesy of the WRAL archive after the break. Okay, you've likely seen a lot of criticism for UNC's football team this week. Even if the Tar Heels are not a championship team this year, that doesn't mean they'll never be, right? UNC's last ACC championship in football was back in 1980. So let's lift the spirits of the Tar Heel faithful and revisit this era. We dug up a story in the WRAL archive recapping some of the program's greatest moments in the 1980s. Check it out.
When you're losing 15-10 and out of timeouts with 18 seconds left in the game, you don't usually call a run. But Dick Crum called a draw play as time expired that first season against Duke. The Tar Heels scored a miracle victory. The momentum of that win in 1978 powered Crum's 1979 Tar Heel team to an 8-3 season. No UNC fan will forget the Gator Bowl win against Michigan. Dick Crum got a victory ride. Crum always wanted his Carolina teams to finish 11-0. His teams at Miami, Ohio had a couple of perfect seasons. 1980 would be as close as Crum would get. The Lawrence Taylor team rocked Texas in the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl to finish 11-1. The only blemish, a loss to Oklahoma.
I think we've still got a ways to go. You know, you're never going to be satisfied with the program, and I think we can still continue to improve it.
1981 saw Kelvin Bryant turn college football upside down. Bryant scored 15 touchdowns in the first 3 games of the year. Then he got hurt, and the Tar Heels stumbled twice. They finished the year in the fog at the Gator Bowl. Ethan Horton helped the Heels hurdle Lou Holtz in Arkansas. Crum's Carolina team won some preseason votes for #1 prior to the 1982 season. The showdown came early against Pitt and the great Dan Marino in Three Rivers Stadium. The Panthers held on 7-6. Carolina season didn't meet expectations in 1982, but the Tar Heels won another bowl game. This 26-10 thrashing of Texas made it 4 wins in 4 bowl trips.